Chewing the fat and talking hotel tech. It's time for Two Smart Fellas.
Now?
Yes, now.
My computer is weird. Every 2 times.
Yes, that's the key thing. Computer nicht gut. Go Mac.
Yeah.
Please go Mac.
Just for everybody, so you're aware that Erik tells me on Skype that it's time to log into the Zoom. And then I go into the Zoom. I have to raise the hand. And so Erik promotes me to be on video.
Genau.
This is the typical, ja, das Wochenende, it is ITB, ladies and gentlemen, next week. Woo!
Exactly. And I think, do we have a live guest?
We do have. He told me he's getting a beer and getting comfortable.
Well, what time is it in Australia? He's in Melbourne, isn't he, our mate?
He's in Melbourne. Where is he?
He's there.
Is he? I can't see him.
Hang on.
Did he sneak in without a name?
Well, please introduce him, Fabian.
It is Jeremy.
Jeremy Longstaff.
Yes, the man himself.
Welcome, Jeremy. And mate,
hello, Jeremy.
Mate, just feel free to type a few questions there or chip in. We used to do live shows. What was it, live on Facebook or something?
Yes.
And that means Fabian and I need to be really organized. We need to schedule these things.
Yeah.
And
people don't show up.
It is 7:10 here in the morning in Manchester, about 20 minutes before the kids wake up. And Fabian, it's about 3 in the afternoon for you?
3:10, yeah.
In Singapore, about 20 minutes before the kids come home.
That's it.
So we're sneaking in this podcast today before my kids wake up, before Fabian's kids get home. And yeah, welcome, Fabian. How are you, mate?
Thank you. Do your welcome to the podcast thing.
Oh, welcome to the Two Smart Fellas podcast on this Friday. Let me get this right, because last week I said April. On this Friday, the 2nd of February, 2018.
Whoa!
And this is going to be the pre-ITB show.
Yeah.
Which was Fabian's great idea, because this morning, was it about an hour ago, I woke up and on Skype, hey Fabian, what's this week's show? Because our Airbnb expert is busy, and I really want to bring in an expert, Erik Mason. So next week we're doing Airbnb with or without Mr. Mason. And Fabian, you're like, you know what? Why don't we do the pre-ITB show? And I said, well, have you got a crypto ready to go? Yes. I've got a startup ready to go, and we like the new chop, fast and snappy pace.
Pow, 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 pow.
And Fabian, do you see my shirt?
I can see. It looks like a Triptease one. Direct is best.
Yeah, so good things come to those who book direct. Direct is best, Triptease. Now, you know Charlie.
Yeah.
Osmond, isn't it? Charlie Osmond.
Yes.
From Triptease, the devilishly handsome entrepreneur and CEO of Triptease.
I thought he was super young. He looks super young, but he's not young. He's
very well maintained. He's got the right amount of stubble.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got too much here. This is what my colleagues in the US call. They say this is like an otter. In the US, they would call people that have this sort of look and no hairy chest. So anyway, that's too much information. I don't really have a hairy chest. But my colleague said, Erik, we would call you an otter in the USA. But hang on, back to Charlie. Charlie's got just the right amount of stubble. His hair's nicely messy, not like mine. I try and comb it a little bit. I have 1 hour and 20 minute haircuts in Bangkok, but
you pass out.
Charlie is devilishly handsome. And speaking of pre-ITB, you know when you go to trade shows and they do little giveaways, a pen, a USB stick. Have you seen what Triptease give away?
No, socks.
Yes.
They gave away socks. They gave away lucky negotiation socks.
Yeah, exactly. So they gave away socks and they gave away the shirt, right? So I'm wearing the shirt today, not just because I like to wear different shirts, because on the podcast, we have hardcore community members like Magnus Vallen. Hey, Magnus, who
Hi, Magnus.
definitely are noticing what we're wearing. So when I get dressed, I'm not thinking of Magnus while I'm getting dressed, but I'm thinking, I'm thinking, what should I wear that Magnus might like, but also is relevant to the show? And because we're doing the pre-ITB show, I must give a huge thank you to Trip Tees, not just for the shirt, but the socks, because honestly, when I heard they were giving out socks, I was like, oh, what? Socks? Well, guess what? I picked up a couple of pairs of socks at WTM last year, and November last year, I think it was. My kids love them. My wife loves them. They're the softest cotton, most comfortable socks. Honestly, I didn't realize socks could be so amazing. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Emily Ascender, and the rest of the crew. I think Assad Duna is no longer there in marketing, but I know the OG crew from Trip Tees. Guys, well done. Because you can.
So what you learned today on Two Smart Fellas is that in the winter, take the socks with you because it's cold. And Erik sings of Magnus while getting dressed. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
I do. Well, look, thank you, Trip Tees. But Fabian, on the subject of giveaways, what do you think are cool giveaways for trade shows that people will actually keep?
Oh, good question. So the things that I always got, right? So I look at it differently. So there's the cool stuff that you want. And then, at the end of the trade show, when everybody's packing up, you might go around and say, let me check what I can get for the kids. So at least I get home. Like you had this fun, cool little pen with a wobbly head.
Yes.
That was quite cool.
Yeah, exactly.
SHR had a one of those beach balls that you could play with. No, cool for the kids in the water. Perfect. I mean, don't forget, I'm going for the kids.
Does it have SHR written on it?
Yes.
Then no good. I'm kidding.
But no, I don't know if we moved away and we're coming back to those kind of things. Like in Asia, a bottle of water and the little tissue packs, you're the winner.
Tissue packs?
Right? Yeah, you know that in Singapore, you can reserve your seat by just putting a tissue there, right?
Okay.
So essentially, if you go to a busy, crowded place, all you got to do is whack a tissue onto the table and nobody will sit there.
A clean one, not your dirty
a clean one. No, like a proper one, and nobody will ever sit at that place. You do that somewhere else, and most probably somebody will nick it.
Exactly.
But I think we're coming back to the cool giveaways.
Yeah, we should never have gone away from cool giveaways, but I agree.
We should go back, but it needs to be something that either makes people laugh, right? Because it's not like, oh, I remember you by a memory stick, right? Mm-hmm. So I think we got to look at it from a marketing perspective and say, what is actually really cool that people would look at and say, yeah, that's actually quite funny. And by the way, I can see that next to my desk or whatever it is.
Exactly. No, I agree. Yeah, it should be memorable. It should be absolutely perishable, eco-friendly, but something that will not be thrown away after 5 minutes, and it will keep the brand top of mind, reinforce the fun, friendly, whatever brand value you attach to that item.
Yeah.
And, my kids will be awake in about 13 minutes, and I'm not going to ask them to be quiet. I might bring them in to show some of their little things that I've given them, because Swiss Bell Hotel, Swiss Bell International, have a lovely little dog.
You know that I met Matt afterwards, about 3 months later, right? And this is customer service.
Matt who? Sorry, for our audience.
Matthew Fault. So he's also part of the exec team at Swiss Bell Hotels. A couple of months later, I met them in Singapore for just a regular catch-up. And the story was that when Erik and I met them, they had 2 dogs, right? But Erik and I, we have 4 kids combined. Well, not with each other, but we have 2 each.
No. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but anyway.
He essentially then said, okay, give it to Erik, because I understand if you have one, take the other one, right? Because otherwise they'll be fighting.
Oh yeah.
So when I met him a couple of weeks later, he all of a sudden said like, and here's your present. And he gave me 2 dogs.
Nice. It's a little Saint Bernards, aren't they?
Yes. Super cute.
And there's a connection with the Saint Bernard and Swiss Bell Hotel International. I think there's a connection, something like when you're stuck in the mountains in the snow.
Yeah, they can get you.
A little whiskey or something. I'm not explaining it the way the marketing people would at Swiss Bell. You know what? It's still here. I think. Yeah. Do you give names to the little dog things or little toys?
Mine is 2.5. He'll forget.
Oh yeah. No, I think
Rafa now is 4.5. She kind of attaches names to it and keeps it there.
Yeah, I think we have 2, and one of them is called Barky, and I forget the other one's names. But they're around here somewhere. I'll get ask Maya maybe to bring it in a bit later on.
By the way, sorry, Jeremy, if you were trying to sign up and learn something by now.
Yeah, Jeremy, it's chewing the fat and talking hotel tech. This is a little bit of the warm-up phase. Yeah. We will get stuck into it. Shall we get stuck into it, Mr.
Yes,
Wilson?
let's do that. Let's do it. All good, gents. Okay, he has his beer, I assume, because it's evening time.
So hang on a second. I need to do something here. Share screen.
What people don't know, Jeremy was a police officer.
I didn't know that.
So if you're ever in trouble, call Jeremy.
Now, can you see my screen, Fabian?
Yes, it says the pre-ITB show, Startup 4Suites and Crypto Corner.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the thing that we want to talk about?
What's the thing you want to talk about? And by the way, I think Jeremy may have a question over here. Chat, click. All good, gents. Yep.
Okay.
John Boston Golden Ale. That's a bit posh. That's a bit fancy. John Boston Golden Ale. Look, I love a pale ale. Little Creatures is my vintage from before I left. I moved 5 years ago. I was very much a Little Creatures pale ale drinker. And I don't mind telling you, Jeremy, you're going to hate me for this. VB, mate, is my drink. Not Tooheys New. Crown Lager, I don't mind a Crown Lager. But VB, which is the same initials as Vertical Booking, but no, VB's my vintage. Jeremy grew up on Melbourne Bitter. They're not bad. That's a decent drop.
I grew up on water.
And milk. Milk from the cow.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this.
All right. Okay, so now let me just click that. Okay, now, what is happening on today's show? Well, firstly, after last week, Fabian, did you get any hate from the revenue management community? Because I got a lot. No, I didn't get a lot. I got a lot of love, but I got one.
No, I got love.
I got one complaint, a written complaint to our US office, not to me directly, because for some reason, I'm not going to call out this brand. I'm not here to name and shame, but for some reason, this particular RM solution or this RM company took offense to my personal opinion that I'm not a fan. So anyway, but our subscriber numbers jumped. We're now at 167. So they jumped by about
67%.
20 in a week.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was more. I thought we just celebrated the 100.
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. We jumped by 40. That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we jumped by about 40 in 1 week, which is a lot for us from a relatively low base. And anyway, if we do get to 200 subscribers, I'm going to do another little celebration video.
I think it should be you dancing.
Yeah, but it's 200, so you and me.
Okay, deal.
Okay. Now, before we start, did you see in the news that the Oxford Dictionary has added a new word called mansplaining? Yeah, there's the link down there. I'm just going to quickly open up that tab because do you see every year the Oxford Dictionary or the Oxford English Dictionary are adding new words, and the word mansplain was added recently.
Okay.
Basically, if you need to explain something excessively or overbearingly, and in particular condescendingly, usually in a way that's chauvinistic or patronizing from a male to a female, this is called mansplain. So rather than explain, you're mansplaining, right?
Okay.
Now, because they basically found that the earliest use of that word mansplain was in some online forum, like LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn, where they're talking about different, it wasn't LinkedIn, but somebody replied, "Thank you for mansplaining that to me." Okay, fine, it's a word now. So I want to create a word. And maybe they will say, in the Two Smart Fellas podcast on the 2nd of March, they created the word linky or linky dink. So I'm going to create linky or linky dink. I think you, Fabian, which one do you like? Or our community has to say which one they prefer to refer to somebody who's a power LinkedIn user. A linky. Or you're a linky dink.
I prefer linky.
Me too. Linky was my first thought. So Fabian, are you so we're at a conference networking and we're having a beer, maybe a Melbourne bitter or a coffee. Mit Milch. So Fabian, are you a linky? How does that go?
Yeah, no.
Or do we have the linky pinky? Let's do a linky pinky. You know how the Masons have a secret handshake?
Yes.
Can the LinkedIns have a linky pinky link?
No. No.
Enough of the linky pinky.
Yes.
So now back to serious business. Today's episode is the pre-ITB show. We're going to talk about, obviously, what we are going to do.
You know what we forgot?
What's that?
11 is Schnapszahl in Germany. So at the 11th of November at 11:11, you need to drink a shot because it's the start of Carnival.
Ooh.
So the 11, we should have a bit early for you to have a shot, but
it's happy hour somewhere in the world.
Happy hour summer.
Jeremy, do you know what, Jeremy? I think Fabian's just given you permission for a sneaky little shot.
Yes.
With a chaser.
So
Fabian, why is start of Carnival? Okay. Well, a shout out to Uwe Gundlach, one of our good friends and one of our audience, also community members, because 11:11 are also very good numbers for him. I was born on the 1st of the 11th, so I'm a 111. While we're talking about numbers, Fabian. So anyway, we'll start with ITB.
Yeah.
What we're doing, and most importantly, what are the best parties to go to?
Agree.
And then in the news, so I already explained mansplaining. And then, did you see this? Shark Tank rejected a startup that Amazon acquired for $1 billion. So Shark Tank is a US TV program I never watch. But I think they said, no. What is this? Some kind of door lock thing, right? And the guy said, oh, okay. And then Amazon just bought them for $1 billion. So Fabian, I'm thinking, you know how we always highlight startups?
Unbelievable.
You know how we have the startup spotlight?
Yeah.
This is the opposite of Shark Tank. We're looking for these startups. And by the way, last week we did Hoperator. How cool are they? Did you met Hoperator?
Oh yeah, no. So I talked to them this week. Amazing.
Yeah.
Goldmine, Chris, Michael, superb.
Yeah. So, exactly.
You'll have a long way to go.
Yeah, exactly. So Fabian, this is now going to be our challenge. I challenge you each week. Because remember when we started, we highlighted Roxy device, which I think is pretty cool. And you're a big fan of the Handy. You like a Handy in your hotel room.
Absolutely.
They're not necessarily, I'm not a fan of a Handy. But this is the challenge. I found Hoperator. I met Hoperator. They were our startup spotlight last week. This week, I've got another red hot startup called 4Suites.
Like it.
We'll do that later. Fabian, the crypto corner this week is something called Yuki.
Yuki, and then I have another one. I have two.
Okay.
No, you need to have them together.
Okay,
because
cool.
Otherwise, and it's very close to your heart. That's why I brought them in.
Very close to this heart.
Very close to the heart underneath, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's start now. ITB. What have I got here? Oh, that's not ITB. Where's that?
That was with 13,000 people at Tony Robbins. So we can do a shout out to Tony Robbins. Hey,
Yes.
Tony, unleash the power within.
Yeah. No, let's ITB. If I go over here and I click here.
Yes.
Okay. Congress. ITB Congress. So Fabian, when do you arrive?
I arrive Tuesday morning.
Okay. And when do you leave, importantly?
I leave Friday night.
Okay, cool. So I arrive Monday morning and I leave Saturday morning. I'm there for the duration. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I love ITB. For anyone who's never been, it's the largest, no, literally it's physically the largest travel trade show, where hotel tech is a very small, tiny little sliver, but an important tiny little sliver, pushed away in some section. So Fabian, where will you be physically located?
I will be at two stands, either at the OTA Insight stand or at the Travel Tripper stand. And both of them are in hall 10.1, and it's stand 113 and 112B. So very close together.
Good. So I'm going to put all that here in the edit.
Yeah.
We're also hall 10.1.
Nice.
Stand 101. So look at the numbers. 10.1, 101. Very nice numbers. And so good. Now, Fabian, now tell me, what you're with OTA Insight and you're with Travel Tripper?
Correct. And Logic.
And Logic. So, okay, so you've been invited to different stands to...
Correct.
Are you invited because you're one of the two smart fellows, or are you invited because you're just a cool guy?
I'm invited not only because I'm a cool guy, because essentially our investment company on top that owns Logic, they also, so it's a typical VC, and they have invested in different startups, early stage, and Travel Trip and OTA Insight were one of them. So essentially, it brings it together, and from a revenue generation perspective, it makes sense because it's a best-in-class approach versus a one-stop shop.
Complementary. So you, in fact, you're saying you're reporting to the VC directly?
No, not really. I mean, I work with the stakeholders, right? It's generally Asia focused, so we're looking at it from an Asia perspective. But of course, you still want to go to ITB. There's a lot of Asian clients that I'm going to meet over there. And then, of course, catching up with some European clients in the DACH region.
Exactly. Now, speaking of DACH region, I told you I'm arriving Monday because I'm going to have lunch with the Austrian evangelist, Klaus Kuhlmeier.
Ah, cool. You're having a lunch with Klaus. Awesome.
Yeah, that's my nickname for him now, Austrian evangelist. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. Klaus, it's Klaus, but is it Kuhlmeier?
Kuhlmeier.
Kuhlmeier, okay. Good name. So I'm having lunch with him. Now, Tuesday, this is a very top secret thing, but let me just say, you know this guy, Krasimir Trapchev. He's the CEO of Clock. And he's a fan of Two Smart Fellows. And so let's just say on Tuesday, Krasimir and I are getting together in front of some video cameras and doing something. So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. Enjoy.
But so anyway, Fabian, on the ITB, on Tuesday night, when you arrive, Tuesday, are you doing anything?
Tuesday night? No, I have a couple of appointments throughout the day. Nothing at the nighttime, I believe.
Okay. Are you an ITB networker?
Yes. You should find me somewhere. Ah, there you are. Look at you.
Whoa. Whoa. Are you there too?
Try.
So another thing, you should download the app as well. The app is really good.
I will. Oh, there I am.
Hey, we need a new photo. This photo is good, but the new one, which is on this podcast and also LinkedIn, I think maybe change that one, yeah?
Just type in Travel Tripper. You will still find them.
Here?
No, even on the front page. It just doesn't give you a recommendation.
Well, like here?
Yeah, so if you just type in Travel Tripper and hit enter.
Yeah, okay, enter.
2 words. 2 words. You see?
Soma,
Directly comes up.
Liviu, Adrian. These are all travel tripper people.
And then you have Travel Tripper Ltd down there. Yeah.
Ah, Patrick. I like
Yeah.
him. I know him. Cool. You said 2 words, right?
Yeah, even then it will bring up the same. Ah, did you see?
Where?
There it came. When you now highlight it, ta-da!
Yeah. Oh, you know why? Because it's been a search. It's cached. Okay, now, Fabian, the most important things are the parties. Now, techtalk.travel. Have you heard of this?
Yes.
Okay. They are doing a launch.
Oh, fantastic.
They are launching, and I think one of your investors and one of your colleagues, so KJ, Korean Jacob, was recently interviewed in New York by Andre Ballieu. Shout out, Andre. I know you watch the show, mate. And Fabian, have you seen any of these interviews? Have you watched any? Okay, you need to. Not only is the production value on the intros, the outros, the whole edit top, but the speakers, the interviews they've done are superb. So they're having a launch party, and the launch party is only 5 days away, 11 hours, 22 minutes, and well, it's only 5 days away. Yeah. So are you, Fabian, on Wednesday night? What are you doing?
Wednesday night, we're having a party. Travel Tripper and OTA Insight having a party in one of the rooftops.
What time and where? What rooftop?
It is at the, give me 1 second. Oh, I'll just have that. There we go. It's at the hotel industry rooftop at the House of Weekends.
Okay. What time?
So it starts at 7:30 until around 10:30. And then after 11, there is a, how do you call that? An after party.
Okay. Well,
So we
from
have
7 p.m. I'll be at Club Raumklang.
Oh, wow.
And that's where TTT, as I like to call them, well, I will be launching their party. And
Cool.
so, look, this will be, I think, an hour, maybe 2 hours max. So maybe, I don't know, am I invited to your after party?
I have to check. There's over 250 people have replied.
Yeah. You just say, look, Erik's my mate. He's one of the smart fellas. Maybe you've seen, maybe you've heard of 2 smart fellas. Can you play that card? Because you guys invited me in Toronto. Do you remember?
Yeah, but was that not a Logic only party?
It was a combined 6 companies.
Okay, yeah. We did through Alan, right? Alan Young.
Yeah, so you guys invited me to that party, so I think I'm on your list of influencers or cool people. So maybe you can ask the marketing people to, hey, mate, it's about the parties and the networking.
Yeah.
Anyway, see if you can talk to someone. Who controls that, by the way? Who is the actual person that says yeah or nein?
I have to check. I'll just put people on the list.
Yeah, okay, cool. Now, on Thursday night, I'm hosting a little dinner with some customers and some VIPs at a restaurant with a very nice menu, Fabian. We've got Tatar vom Brandenburger Wiederind mit Waschtelei, Belperknöll und Kaviar. That's part of the Vorspies, which I think is a starter. The Vorspiese. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, Vorspeise.
Okay. Anyway, what else are you doing at ITB?
I have meetings back to back. It's a typical marathon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a typical marathon where you have your breakfast, you go to the show, you do the entire show, you go back, you freshen up, you go to the party, you go to the after party, you go the next day again. And you do that until literally Friday when you catch the plane, or when most people actually leave and get the plane done. So
exactly.
I arrive at 9 a.m., I believe, and my first meeting is at lunchtime. And then it goes until about 8-ish on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Then I most probably am beat from the flight and everything and go straight up in the morning again.
Will Soma Bruce be there?
She will be.
Oh, can I meet her?
You can always come to our stand.
I know her on LinkedIn. We're in the same hall. So
I'll wave over.
I'd like to meet Soma Bruce and ask her about the ring. Is she married or not? Have we done enough of ITB?
Enough of ITB.
Okay, let's go back to here. Okay, Fabian, your crypto corner, yuk yeah.
Let's do this.
Yuk yeah.
How do I share my screen? Share my screen. Okay. Desktop, chip. Okay. Okay,
Ooh.
that's the first one.
Eat and drink.
Yuki. Yeah, eat and drink. Here. Party. Woo, woo, party. Woo, woo, party. Woo, woo.
Which I might not be invited to. You have to talk to somebody who knows somebody and say, Erik is not a competitor, but even if he is, he's a cool guy. So maybe you'll invite me, Fabian. I will update our community next week whether I was invited or not.
How about I Skype you in?
Live stream.
Okay, so you have Yuki.io. Okay.
Yuk yeah.
And that's why I said be part of the travel revolution. And as you can see, I'm scrolling through, and that's the website.
Oh, that's it.
So hence I said it's a 43 seconds video.
Wow.
So that's why I wanted to show you too. So have a look at that one. Are you actually hearing this?
Fabian, get a Mac. Get a Mac.
Okay, listen.
Are you looking for a home for your dream vacation? Do you need a short-term rental to visit and reconnect with friends? Be part of the travel revolution. Book with Yuki. Yuki is much more than a platform. It offers perfect solutions for you and your family all around the globe, guaranteeing secure, traceable, and transparent transactions while reducing commission costs. How? Thanks to blockchain technology. The future is always on the go. Travel with Yuki, your safe holidays.
Now, Fabian, are they going to get some money and then run away because they've just basically done a 45-second video? Like, is this legit, or where did you find these guys?
There's a couple. So there is a couple of people out there that are advising on this ICO, and they're relatively, I wouldn't say superstars, but they're known very well in the industry, in the blockchain stuff, in the blockchain world. So that's how I got across them, because I looked at it from got that on my newsfeed in LinkedIn, and was like, okay, cool. If this person is an advisor, then let me find that out.
Who's the advisor?
Now putting me onto the spot. 1 second.
Well, anyway, I'm sure Yuk yeah is one.
Yuki. So
well, they say Yuki, but it's pronounced. So the way they've written it, Yuki should be Key. But anyway, they can be Yuki, but I will always pronounce it Yukye because that's how they've typed out their name.
And now we're coming to the B token. Now this ICO is already over, right? But I thought I'd bring it up anyways because it does the same thing. So
what do you mean same thing?
The future of home sharing.
Like Airbnb.
Like Airbnb, like what we have just seen in the video.
I didn't follow that video. I didn't. It basically sounded like fluff. Like, we're just going to say something generic and take your money and run away and scam you.
It would have been a really good video if Airbnb didn't exist. That's where I see it.
Okay.
Reinventing the home sharing economy. The problem is I don't have a white paper. The problem is I can't look into anything deeper. I most probably would if I start digging down and trying to speak to people and getting.
There's a button there. There's a button.
No, this has. That's what I'm saying is.
Okay.
This one I brought in because it has the white paper. It has everything, so I can really read through stuff, and it's very well structured actually. So our team is experienced and talented group of former employees: Google, Facebook, Uber. Civic is an identity platform. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we are building a middleman-free peer-to-peer network of hosts and guests on the decentralized web. Sounds like Airbnb to me. without the middleman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cutting edge hospitality. So a marketplace where hosts can put their accommodation. Again, sounds very much like Airbnb to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
0% commission, aligned incentives. So we're going to look at that, and then verified security and trust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, through reviews.
Genau.
So far, excited?
Yes, it's a pretty website, but tell me more. I need to know more.
Okay, so now let's go into the team. So most of them are engineers from Google, Uber, Facebook. Mm-hmm. They've got a couple of advisors from VCs over to other crypto parts, startup incubators. So quite a few people are hooking onto it. They raised the 5 million that they wanted to raise, essentially. So they raised 5 million US. Mm-hmm. But now let's go in the white paper. And the white paper, it's quite interesting. So essentially, they want to build a platform where you can also hook in your own apps. Okay, secure payment gateway, arbitration system, and a reputation system.
So that's interesting because they're building a marketplace.
Yes, correct. You could argue Airbnb is a marketplace, or they started out as a marketplace, right? Now, the interesting thing is if they build other apps on top of that that can supplement this, not just the payment, because the payment is fine. The arbitration is you always have to have that in a home sharing environment. And then the reputation is really just leaving reviews on the site. So the background, they're then talking about cryptocurrency, then they're talking about millennials, and then they're talking about how they're going to get to where they want to get.
Maybe just one question. Where they said millennials are fueling the economy, where you scroll up a little bit there, it's in italics, yeah? Now, where do they get this? Is this been sourced, or this is just their opinion that millennials are investing heavily in crypto and fueling the sharing economy? Like, that's a nice statement, but is it sourced? Is it researched?
I don't find any of the...
Okay. Because I always look at this from a marketing point of view, right? I can appreciate good spin and good hype, of course.
Yeah.
But when you make certain statements that are not sourced or researched.
Okay. So value propositions. So they're talking about aligning the incentives. Now, they're talking about they're talking about benefits for early adopters and token holders, right? Thereby aligning user incentive towards further growth. I still don't get the entire incentive.
Well, they're talking about the birds and the bees, or the bees and the honey? I'm a bit lost.
No, so they're essentially talking about aligning something with something. And most of the time I'm as confused as you, mate.
Yeah.
They're talking, but without putting the finger on it. And we're coming down afterwards. So it says creates benefits for early adopters and token holders, thereby aligning users' incentives towards further growth. But if I'm an early adopter or token holder, what if I'm a host?
So at my home, in my backyard, if I want to make my own honey, I create a bee colony, and I get the honey, and I share the honey with people in the bee nest. I honestly, mate, what is this?
That's what I wanted to know from you. I know it's very close to your heart.
No. Okay, it is. You're right. I have an opinion. Go back to the 15 VC investors, because VC investors are VC investors. They're opportunists, obviously, and some of them have got very excellent careers. But let me just have a look here. A TED Fellow, TransLink Capital. Please scroll up a little bit more.
No, that's it. Starting.
Okay. Now, can we go back to the founders? Because you said engineering. They're mostly engineers.
Those guys, yeah.
Okay.
When I looked at their LinkedIn stuff.
Okay. All right. So Uber, from an engineering perspective, I'm not a fan. Uber, I'm not a fan of the engineering quality of Uber. Like on my, I use Uber every single week, right? On Uber, okay, not just the GPS accuracy, but I just find it very, very, it's not a best example of cutting edge tech. It's high scale, sure, but UX, UI, I don't think it's fantastic. Now, of course, ex-Google, I think Google only hire geniuses. You have to qualify. It's a very strict qualification. So anyone from Google obviously is great. Now that guy, second from the bottom on the right, Doug Todd, community manager. Can you click on him, please?
Can't.
No. See, why isn't there hyperlinks to LinkedIn?
Oh, this one has. This one has.
Well, but why only her?
It's a him.
Oh, all of them. Can you go to? Oh, is it? I'm sorry. 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 Anyway, I'm sorry, Tony. Tony, click on Doug. Click on Doug Todd, please, while I dig myself a bigger hole. Can you please click on Doug Todd?
I can't.
Okay, highlight his name, please. Doug Todd. Highlight his name. Copy, paste into LinkedIn. This is how I research people.
Oh, same.
If everybody's on LinkedIn except Doug Todd,
Well, don't forget it's a different community, my friend. So, Have you heard of Medium?
Yes, it's a blogging platform.
Correct. Have you heard of Telegram?
No. Well, yes, but you have to show me.
So those kind of there's different apps that the crypto world is using. So if he goes down for that, well, there's a lot of Doug Todds.
We'll put Doug Todd Beekeeper or Doug Todd Yukye, whatever they're called. But anyway, why isn't Doug there? That's maybe a trivial thing, okay? It's maybe trivial.
No, that's a different one. Hi, Doug.
Kellogg School of Management, that's pretty serious.
That's a different one.
Oh, so, okay, put B token. Actually, why don't you just put B token in and just see everyone there, who's on LinkedIn from the company B token.
Wow, my internet's and I'm in Singapore. Oof.
I think it's everybody crashing the Two Smart Fellows podcast. There's Tony Tran. 22 employees, good. Where's Doug Todd? Okay. So
Tony.
That's it. See Tony's profile there. That picture, nice picture.
Much better. I like that one much better.
Okay. Where's Doug? Because if Doug is a community manager, Doug's probably into community platforms like LinkedIn. Oh, Rob Peterson, Jeff Peterson. Anyway, look, it sounds interesting. The Uber engineering DNA does nothing for me. In fact, it's a slight negative, just in my personal opinion as an Uber user. But sure, Airbnb, which we'll definitely be doing next week.
Yeah.
Rain, hail, or shine, with Erik Mason or without Erik Mason, has certainly come into the spotlight to disrupt the big two, Booking Holdings, formerly known as Priceline Group, and of course Expedia family of products. So, with that in mind, if Airbnb have taken their eye off the ball and now moving into hotels, I think that's a strategic mistake. But we'll cover that next week. So the beekeepers here, the bee nest. What's the brand name? Is it Bee Nest?
I think the bee.
What is it?
Bee.
I just called Bee.
Let me say it this way: it's well written. It has good structure. Yet at the end of it, I am not excited.
Yeah, it's a bit vague. It's a bit vague, right?
It's also, you're trying to fight Goliath, right? For me, it's the adoption that will happen. And if you look at what struck me was the anticipated timeline. And that's where I saw a real danger, that until 2019, you will only have one city
One city.
available.
Let
One
me guess.
city.
Let me guess. San Francisco.
Correct.
Really?
Yeah.
So Airbnb's birthplace. Yeah. Look, maybe they're being opportunistic. Okay, it's interesting. I give it. Well, I don't even give it anything. I give it a 5 out of 10. It's mildly interesting, but
Yeah.
it's a lot better than Yuk. Yeah.
Yeah, Yuki, guys, you gotta give me a little bit more. Would love to look what you're up to, but at the moment, it just looks like a trailer for Airbnb. Share your home.
Yeah.
And that's about it. So would love to know more. Please show us.
Yeah.
And I'll look at it again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's go.
Startups.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I got a list of 45 different startups in the tech space now from crypto. So
Cool.
with plenty to discuss.
Good. So let me click that. Let me.
Whoa.
If you want to keep, please assign. I know. Cancel.
Whoever knows where this was taken gets a beer.
Oh yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're in the wrong.
There I am.
There we go.
Now, what am I doing?
Well, 75 views, yeah.
Oh yeah, you see that? You see that? Now I'm going to do a startup review.
Yeah.
Let's close this. Shout out to Andre and TechTalk.travel. Close my menu. And so this is it, Fabian. Shark Tank rejected the idea, but you know what the idea was? The idea was basically about a special doorbell technology. Basically, it's called the Ring, where Amazon, basically the Shark Tank people said no. And it's a way for the doorbell to have video interaction. So from remotely, someone can say, yep, let the Amazon delivery guy in or drop off the package. The Shark Tank guys said, no way. Amazon just snapped them up. So again, we have a different approach, Fabian. We don't have startups coming to us. We look for these startups like Hoperator and your favorite little handy in your hotel room. Now, 4Suites. I spent about an hour with Jonathan Springford. What's this? Jonathan Springford. They're in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands. Only 30 minutes from Centraal in Amsterdam. But apparently Rotterdam is voted in 2018 the best city in Europe to visit. I've never been. Anyway, these guys are what I would classify under awesome source. These guys are awesome source in the same way that I now also describe Hoperator as awesome source. So Fabian, think Shark Tank said no to the Ring, and then Amazon bought them for $1 billion. Now, with that as a context, let's look at 4Suites. These guys have let's say 3 years business history in real estate. They started in real estate with office buildings that were being converted into shared mixed-use office space. And the margins are very, very small in this business. You have an empty building, you convert it to a WeWork, or you convert it to a shared office space.
Yeah.
Very small margins. How are you going to control access? Who gets into the boardroom? Who gets into the office space? Who has a hot desk? You and I have worked at a WeWork in New York, right? So we know how optimized the WeWork business is, and how you have the ability to schedule and manage space is critical. This is where these guys started. Then they saw the opportunity in hotels, because they basically, Hilton did some kind of news about the millions they're investing in mobile access to the rooms. And I think Marriott did the same thing.
Yeah.
And they looked at the technology that Hilton are using and Marriott are using, right? And it's Bluetooth based. That's a weakness. Firstly, They're not reliant on Bluetooth. They have basically put in, if I say IoT, what does that mean to you, Fabian? If I say IoT?
Internet of Things.
Exactly. Internet of Things. So these guys put a small chip in the electronic door lock. So if your hotel already has the magnetic card or the fob to open the door lock, 4Suites is for you. If you have a door where the key is used to open the door, 4Suites is also for you, but there's a different solution. Now, firstly, Fabian, if you are using the Hilton door locking thing or the Marriott door locking thing, you must download their app.
Yeah.
Right. So for independent hotels or regional groups, no guest is going to download so many different apps. So they've got a white label app platform. So any hotel, basically the guest books, and in the email confirmation, the guest has a link for their keys. It's a link for the key, and then a link to download the app. So basically, the guest can open the door. Now, this chip, let's look at this. Firstly, it's fully cloud. Yeah, it's native cloud. It's basically online. So your mobile room key in the cloud. Obviously, from a management point of view, the hotel can control access anywhere and instantly. So I don't know, Fabian, whether you've ever done any of the back-end stuff on door access.
No.
Jeremy just said he's still getting his head around crypto. So that part's over his head, but he's very skeptical of startups, so he's very wary. I agree, mate. I agree. Now, back to 4Suites. So I've worked with Saflock and Assa Abloy. Remember I used to install PMSs?
Yeah.
Right. So to be able to, let's say, restrict access to a guest room, you have to rewrite to the magnetic card unless your door locks are hardwired back to the central controller, which very few are. Remember, if you extend your stay in a hotel, you have to come down to the front desk to
recut it.
Not with 4Suites. It's live, it's instant, it's on the cloud in terms of the management of this, right? Yeah. Now, further, if we look at the actual hardware elements here, it's low energy, it's efficient, it's done within minutes. I think it's approximately €50 for the chip. You put a chip in every lock, and then it's very low power. It uses the existing battery that's already in the door lock.
Nice.
Right? The hotel just has to install routers, just like Wi-Fi, yeah? And depending on the architectural structure of the building, you have, let's say, one router per 100 rooms or whatever the formula is, yeah? And then, guess what? The battery status is also monitored by the cloud. So the cloud will also tell the hotelier, oh, your battery is running a bit low on this lock, right? So very nice efficiency. In terms of security, now this is another thing, Fabian. Remember I said that Bluetooth is not good technology for Hilton and Marriott?
Yeah.
You didn't ask me why.
It can be hacked.
Yes, exactly. Good. You already knew. But a lot of people don't know, because with Bluetooth between my phone and the lock, that can be hacked.
Very easy, because most of the... Jeremy asked if an NFC is better than Bluetooth.
I'll have to ask Jonathan.
I don't know. We have to ask.
NFC is near field communication.
Correct.
But I'll ask Jonathan, or Jeremy, connect with Jonathan Springford, tell him Erik sent you, and he'll give you the good oil on all that gear. But yeah, you're right, Fabian. So Hilton and Marriott are providing guests with hackable ways to access the guest room, not 4Suites. So Fabian, I've got more to share, but so far, what's your vibe? What are you feeling so far?
Don't get me excited.
Oh, good. Okay. No, that's good. Let me tell you more. So this is the only online cloud solution. Well, firstly, let me ask you the question, Fabian. Do you use your phone to access your room?
No.
Okay. So maybe you're not the target customer.
Not at this point in time.
Yeah, exactly. So you're not.
But if it can and fits, and I don't need to go to the front desk, happy days.
Well, that's exactly what this is about.
Yeah.
And you're sitting back now. Are you a bit sleepy, Fabian? Am I boring you?
You need to bring up the energy.
Okay. So look, the online dashboard, you have, remember, the hotel can white label this.
I think the white labeling is always a brilliant idea.
Of course, it's white label. But you know what the best thing is? They sell, I guess, directly in the Benelux region, of course, because they're in Rotterdam. But a lot of the electronic card reading companies like, Assa Abloy and these ones are partnering with 4Suites. This is not replacing them. This is complementing those systems. So, in fact, it's beautiful. They're not disrupting a market. They're accelerating the access because who wants to carry 20 different apps? Who wants to access the room with hackable Bluetooth technology? It's all with basically this chip. But Fabian, this is not exciting you. I don't know what would excite you. You said you don't like it.
No, it's not that I don't like it. I see a full market for it. The how do you call it? The room stuff. I'm still a bit old school when it comes to that.
Yeah, no worries.
From that perspective, because I would want to see a full integration with the PMS, and I mean, there's a couple of things where they do from a blockchain perspective.
Oh, they integrate with Muse.
Oh, fantastic!
And Booking Factory is next.
Oh, super. No, then I can see those kind of things working. But the integration part,
that's already done. Yeah, and PMSs are knocking at their door saying, "This is great. This is great. We want to do this." Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, they're really cool. They are in Rotterdam. Next time I'm in Amsterdam, I'm definitely going to pay them a visit. Jonathan, I pronounce Jonathan Jonathan because do you know one of my middle names, Fabian, is spelled Jarl. How would you pronounce my middle name, Jarl?
Jarl.
Yeah, it's Jarl.
Jarl.
It's a Swedish name.
Okay.
Magnus would know this. Jarl is the name of Jarl Kula. Jarl Kula was my mum's favorite actor, so she gave me that as a middle name. But Fabian, how are we going for time? I think that's almost it, right?
I'm already knocked on the door, if you can hear that in the back.
It's 8:08 on this Friday, the 2nd of March, 2018. That was episode 11 of the Two Smart Fellas podcast. See you next week in Berlin, Fabian.
Absolutely.
Please ask whoever to invite me to your precious party on the roof.
Will do. And thank you, Jeremy, for joining live.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. Cheers, Jeremy. Have an extra.
Cheers.
Did you have that shot, Jeremy? He's got a bit of text here. Hang on. Jeremy's saying stuff.
He's saying
two thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. Jeremy, we'll follow up with NFC stuff and that kind of stuff. Over and out.
Bye-bye.
Me da lo mismo, diferencia general de cualquier tipo. Solo me dedico, platico lo que es el ritmo.